Well, hey guys, welcome back to Waters Family Homestead. All right, I got a wasp flying around. If it landed, I'd spray it, but anyway. All right, so when my brother's business wanted to use the bike for the parade, for Christmas parade last year, I loaned it to him. My nephew, well, actually my niece's husband, so nephew-in-law, wasn't comfortable riding it, so he didn't ride it in the parade. And I went and picked it up, and of course I rode it out of the shop and around the back, and the shop back behind my brother's place, they got that gravel about 10 or 12 inches thick. And I went to turn and laid the bike over because the tire sunk. I wasn't moving very fast at all, like, just enough to turn it around sharp. And the tire sunk down and into that gravel, and I laid it over, skipped my finger. I mean, literally didn't hurt anything, but it did break this bracket right there. So I had a buddy come by and weld it. That's all it hurt. But I rode this thing about 2 weeks ago. I was, like today, at home by myself, and I rode it around the yard and then down out the range and back. And this throttle was hard to move. So today I decided, well, I don't feel like doing a whole lot of hard stuff, so I thought I'd start on this easy fix. And I took the throttle handle off, and there's no bearings, there's nothing. It's very cheaply made, y'all. But I loosened up these things, took the handle off, put a little bit of grease in here and on the inside edge. That's where it rubs. Hoping that'd make it a little bit easier to turn the throttle. It's still hard, much harder than you would expect it to be, but it's back to normal like it was when I first bought it. So I got it put back together, was tightening everything down. I lowered the seat about a half an inch. I am short, I'm 5'8", if I stand up straight. I had the seat so low when I first put it together that I hit the luggage rack bar back here, and it wasn't comfortable, So I raised it up, and it went a little too high. So I lowered it about a half an inch, tightened the brackets back up. Then I went to tighten this bracket back up that the throttle cable comes in on. And I was tightening it down, and it snapped right there. So now it won't tighten down. Now I thought about taking it loose and putting some JB weld on it, let it set up for a few days, and then come back and snug it up. But I probably need to order that bracket. It's this whole piece right here that is the issue. This whole throttle cable bracket. So it still works because it won't turn past that point. It hits the brake lever. Let me back up so y'all can see. So when you go to turn it, you're putting, pressure there. Still works. But the throttle actually doesn't have any spring back tension to it other than what's on the motor down here. So I actually moved the end of the cable to the highest position to give it more ride on it. And that made me lower this, and it looks like I moved it about a half an inch. And I took it down the dirt road and back about a half a mile. And, got it up to full speed, turned around, came right back. And it works fine, but this is another negative on this Phatmoto bike is that it's, what we call in the United States pot metal. It's cheap cast aluminum or whatever, and it really, that's not strong enough for something that's that critical of a point. But I started here. I didn't know how to take it apart because it came assembled. Took this off. This is just a cap for decoration. There's a nut on the inside of the handle. So I had to get my long extension in a socket and go in there and hold the nut and tighten it back down. Like I say, it's just for decoration. That's all that is. That's just looks. So there's no bearings or anything. And that kind of surprised me that there's nothing there to make it smoother and easier to turn. But other than that, the bike cranked on a third or fourth pull like always, because I turn the gas off when I park it. And as far as running, the thing does great. And I've seen some of the comments on my unboxing and putting it together video or whatever. People say that the back axle is going to break on you. And okay, if it does, I don't know what to do other than order another one. But that's, to me, that'd be a major repair. This would be a minor repair. But other than that, it's been a pretty good bike so far. Of course, I don't have a ton of hours on it either. This, you know, I bought this bike as a, not necessarily a bug out vehicle, but a vehicle that'll run if cars and all aren't running anymore because of an EMP or something. And that's what I have the wagon that the bike pulls for. So the bikes so far has been really good, but like I say, I'm not hard on it either. I don't take it, you know, in places most people would probably take theirs, but I haven't had an issue with anything. I do think at the very least, this point up here should have had some grease on it if there's no bearing, and there is no bearing. So it should have at least had some grease on there to lube it a little bit. I mean, it's dry as a bone in there. All right, so it makes me think, you know, if I was, look, I can work on stuff mechanically. I just don't like to. So it makes me think, take that back axle apart and go ahead and grease it and, you know, do some preventive maintenance on it before I have an issue with that, as some of the comments have suggested. But, you know, little as I ride it, I'm not going to fool with it right now anyway. But you can tell it's pollen all over the bike. It's dirty. It's been sitting under the shelter. And, but either way, it still works. Runs good. Rides good. I still want to get me a bigger seat for it, but it's pretty comfortable if you're not going to ride it for a long time. But the tires have held air really well. I've been really pleased with it. So anyway, that's it. I repaired the throttle because, I mean, my hands are, you know, have issues with joints and stuff from the Rocky Mountain Spotted Fever, and it was hard for me to turn it. But as long as I grip out here on the knurled part, I can turn this thing pretty easy. This wasp is just bound and determined to make me stop the video and get my spray. But anyway, that's all it is. I just wanted to show y'all that did have you know, an issue with it. That little bracket, I didn't have that much tension on it. It should not have snapped. But it is what it is. Still rideable. Y'all remember what I've always told you. Jesus Christ loves you, and so do I. Y'all be safe. Be prepared. Grow some food and have a little fun.